So I figured that I would make a guide for the people that wanted to learn how to approach the Lexos compound to either get the big game task done or even to get your hands on a PKP from the big boy so that you can complete your gunsmith part 25 task, or even if you just wanted to learn how to more effectively farm Kaban or his guards in general. Now, as with my guide on clearing the water treatment plant on Lighthouse, I will try to be as detailed and concise as possible. However, if you guys do have any additional tips for viewers that could be helpful, be sure to leave them in the comment section. Now, if you guys are going to Lighthouse to try and complete the big game task, Kaban usually does have 6 guards on the ground as well as 2 to 3 sniper guards on the roof, but there can also be additional scavs that do spawn inside of the compound. But in my experience, the sniper guards as well as the additional scavs inside the compound will not count towards the guard kills. Only the ground guards did count for me. So Kaban will have 2 main areas inside of the Lexos compound that he will chill at, the first being inside the first floor of the actual Lexos car dealership, and then the second being inside of the garage, which is behind the dealership. Inside of each of these 2 areas, he does have 3 spots where he will likely be standing. Unless he does get aggroed by a grenade or gets a visual on a PMC, then he will wander around and chase after people and then aggro towards them. So just be aware of that. So BSG did add mines around the Lexos compound when they did add Kaban into the game. So you do have 4 options to get into this compound in order to try and get at Kaban. You can enter in the north or the south end, but both of these are being watched by guards on AGS-30 stationary guns. So you will have to use grenades to force them off these guns so that you can enter into the compound. Another option is to pick up an aspect company key for around 80k, and then you can use that to enter into the compound on the east side and then bypass having to use grenades to push in. This is a less used access point and can also be used to ambush people who are already inside the compound, since most people don't expect that you will use this as an entry point. And then the last option that is currently my favorite to use is on the west side of the compound by the Big Sparger grocery store. However, to use this method, you will require to have at least 25 strength or to use stims to increase your skills so that you are able to jump up on top of this dumpster and then over top of the fence and into the compound. And then there's also another way that you can get into the north end of the compound through a window that you have probably seen a lot of bigger streamers use. However, this way is quite dangerous since you are directly beside a minefield and also quite out in the open, and you require even more strength than on the opposite end. So I'm not going to end up going over this method just because I don't want somebody to try and do it and then die unnecessarily. So while you are hunting Kaban, then I would recommend using some of your big boy guns, especially since Kaban has 85 head HP and then his ground guards have 55 and snipers have 50 head HP. So if you do try to use something like a 5.5A1 round, then you will always have to 2-tap heads, and then that can definitely put you at a disadvantage. Whereas if you use one of the calibers 7.62x39 or 7.62x51 in either PP, BP, or M80 or M62, for example, then you will usually 1-tap the guards unless their helmet tanks some of the damage. But again, this is just a recommendation, and at the end of the day, then I want you guys to use whatever gun that you're comfortable with and that you think that you can succeed with. So if you're trying to use the north entrance, then I recommend that you use a grenade to get the gunner off the AGS before running into the compound, or if you are coming from the tar bank side of the entrance, then you can right angle lean peek the gunner before running into the compound. But if you are coming from the check 15 side, then do not even try to lean peek since it will be a left-hand peek. And instead just use a grenade to push into the connex on your left hand side. Once you are inside the connex, then you can slowly right hand peek out the entrance to start popping any guards or scavs, especially ones that hop back on the AGS. Once the coast is clear, then I will move out to the AGS, and then this can actually aggro the sniper scavs on you. So usually I do give it 10 seconds to see if they will look over the edge of the rooftop on the right side, since that is typically where they do come to look over. Then I will push up and clear the stationary guns on the opposite side before checking Kaban's garage spawns. So I firstly clear the left side of the garage by checking his most common spawn, which is going to be the forklift. So he typically does spawn right behind that. Although lately I have been finding him spawning a little bit more to the left just in front of the blue shelves whenever he is aggroed by a grenade. And if he's not in either one of those 2 locations, then he does have a spawn which is basically directly across from the forklift along the far left side of the wall inside of the garage. And to check the spawn, usually you can see his head just over top of this box in between the door jamb and the wall. Now the last place to check inside of this garage area is going to be on the far right side, just in front of these stairs that go up to the 2nd floor. Apparently he can spawn all the way over here. Now if he's not here in the garage, then he's definitely spawned inside the Lexos building, which means that you can approach the fight knowing that he's there. So what I typically do is I end up clearing the corner just around this connex, and then if he's not there and also not in the far right corner of the Lexos building, then he's definitely going to be underneath the stairs area. So typically I will lob a grenade over top of the wall to force him to come my way, since sometimes if you end up peeking this wall, then he will just start blasting through the wall and then kill you via wall bang. So I stop giving him the chance to do that, and basically lobbing a grenade over will force him to push to you, and then it should be a pretty free kill for you. Now, if we are coming from the south entrance, then I will check if the guards are on the AGS and grenade launcher by jump peeking over the wall. And then if they are there, then you do have to lob a grenade towards the corner of the Connex that has the grenade launcher on it in order to make both of the gunners get off. And then you're going to want to rush into the compound towards the back right of the aspect building, so to the right side once you go in around the door, and then you're going to move over to the side of the Lexos building just by the SUV. From here you can wait and see if any of the sniper scavs end up pushing you to look over the rooftop left corner, and then you can also start picking off the guards if any of the guards start coming around the Connex towards you. And you can also listen to see if any of the guards do get back on the AGS, and if they do, then I will typically lob a grenade over top of that to force them off, and then push the corner and eliminate the guards as they try to push back towards the AGS and just basically towards you. After you clear this initially, then we can move into the Connex that's immediately on our right, and then we're going to continue clearing. One thing that I will mention is that there can be guards inside of the Lexos going up and down the stairs to the second floor, and then there is actually a small angle break in the stairs that you can be beamed from, so just keep an eye on any movement there, since it is going to be very difficult for you to see, since usually it's just a head and shoulders that peek up and over, but that's enough for the guards to be able to absolutely laser you. Now from this side, I will clear for Kaban in the Lexos building first, so I do slowly right hand peek around this wall, checking the spawn against the wall at the bottom of the stairs, and then also he has a spawn that's going to be behind the couch on the far left wall. So if he's not in here, then we know that he's going to be inside the garage, or if he is there, then typically I will rush back and then do the grenade trick again by lobbing it over top of that and then force him to push me. So since we know if he's not here that he is going to be in the garage area, then we can approach it the same way as we did from the other side. But just be sure to listen and keep an eye for any of these sniper scavs who have not peeked at you yet for you to take out, since they will oftentimes annoyingly wait until you do engage with Kaban, or until you go to try and loot his body, and then they will start taking pop shots at you. So just try to keep a mental note of where any sniper scavs are that you haven't dealt with. But once you go over to the garage side, then you can also use a grenade over here in order to force him to push, and then as he turns the corner, then you want to light him up. This works especially well if he is behind the forklift, and then he won't stop shooting at your location to give you a second to peek him. Now the aspect building entrance is basically going to be the same as what we just went over, except that you can enter in with the key instead of having to use the grenade to push in, and then you can basically push directly to the side of the Lexos building just next to the SUV and then start clearing the exact same way as I just explained. It just basically gives you a quieter way to get into the Lexos compound, and also the ability to possibly ambush people who are already fighting Kaban. Now my preferred method at the moment is to use the western entrance, so using this dumpster just behind the Big Sparger grocery store in order to jump over top of this fence and into the compound. And just that you guys know, you can also leave the compound this exact way as well in case you want to avoid people camping the two main entrances. So once we get in, then we can jump up on top of this box and then up on top of the Connex, and the guards actually will not use the stationary guns on you here. And the one that is on top of the Connex actually seems to be unable to shoot you at all. You jumping up on top of this Connex seems to break him a little bit. And normally he will actually get himself stuck on the stairs. Now the one that's on the ground gun will actually stand just beneath you, so you can right hand peek and then take him out. However, he will be ready and then will start blasting you as soon as you peek your head out even a millimeter. So just be aware that you probably will take a little bit of damage on this guy. Now the sniper scavs will actually push you just up above, and then you can easily take them out since they will only be about 10 meters away from you at this point. And they should actually push you one after the other. After this step, then the method is the same as the previous two. So basically if you're coming in from the aspect building or from the south side, so then you can follow in line with how I did explain for those other two methods. Now bear in mind that the other PMCs rushing Kaban, as well as the army of player scavs that rush in this compound as soon as they spawn in at like 38 minutes, will cause chaos and also make this even harder than it already is. So it is usually easier to do this with one or two friends, or if you are primarily a solo player, then sometimes it's nice to know that you can just shoot everything that moves. Now, if you are having a hard time with this task and then clearing the Lexos compound and getting the Kaban's gun, then Streets is actually one of the more favorite maps of my Discord. So if you do need help, then you can always stop in there and then see if people are available to let you tag along and then help you to clear it, and then also even maybe get your Kaban kill or a PKP. But hopefully this boss guide does help you guys to take out Kaban and his guards to either get the big game task done or even to get the PKP for your gunsmith task. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching this guide. If you're still here at the end, I definitely appreciate you, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is just a couple of my different social links in case you guys wanted to connect more easily. I am primarily streaming on Twitch now multiple nights a week. So if you do want to connect with me or my community, that would probably be the easiest way to do so. And if you do come over to the Twitch and you want to join the Discord community, then just type !Discord or cord in the chat in order to get an invite link. And if you don't use Twitch, then I do have a link in the picture as well as a link below in the description. And we are growing and currently have an active and welcoming community with people of all experience and skill levels. So there will always be someone who could help to answer any questions that you may have. As always, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching the video, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.